You know, I heard a designer say recently that your entryway is the appetizer to the main course. Well, bon appetit, honey. It's Christmas. What's going on, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Carl.anthonii, and I'm so glad that you guys are joining me today because today's video is all about how to create a magical, stunning, but beautiful entryway. It is my belief that your entryway for Christmas is the welcome letter to all of your Christmas decorations. Now this year, I'm going to be using a classic Christmas as my theme. And that means that I want the very nostalgic feeling and memories that I used to have as a child for my Christmas decorations this year. But before we get started and seeing how I created this beautiful masterpiece right here and behind me, let's take a look at what I did in this space just last year. And last year's theme was the ice storm. Beautiful, right? I mean, does it really get any better than that? I think it does. Let's take a look at just how I created or started with this space right behind me. All right, so one of the very first things that I always like to do when I'm styling my entryway is to use one of my favorite things of all time, a wreath. Now listen, it's my belief that wreaths just don't have to be used for the door. They can be used for centerpieces. They can be used to hang right above pictures. I mean, they can be used in so many different ways. Get creative. And that's the one thing that I like to do whenever I'm styling my entryway, is to be creative. So let's see what happens when I take a little bit of ribbon and this very beautiful wreath and hang it right above this picture. Let's see. this is a space that I wanted to keep very simple. I think it had a lot going on last year, and so I said, this year I'm going to keep it very simple, very clean, but I want it to make sense. And so I started with this beautiful wreath. I love wreaths above pictures. They just make a statement and they really complete a space. I mean, this wreath right above all of this, I mean, it just ties it all together, and I absolutely love it. I use this wooden bowl to accent these beautiful ornaments. My letters to Santa box, again, it's a classic Christmas. So, when you were a child and used to write those letters to Santa, I got a box for that. You'll see what I'll do later on with candle holders. So I wanted to make sure that I kind of started that theme with this right here. And then the show-stopping piece of all pieces, and you guys have heard me talk about having a show-stopping piece for Christmas. It is the Arhaus deer head. I love this thing. I've had it for a few years. Listen, it cost me an arm and a leg. I had to donate blood and give one of my kidneys, but it was all worth it. And it is truly the piece that welcomes you into my home. And I think adding this just gives it that completed touch that this space needed. I mean, what do you think? Beautiful, right? Next, it's time for us to focus on the stairwell. Now, every year I use Garland here, and I will tell you the one thing I despise more than ever is using thin Garland. So I'm gonna show you all exactly my process of how I create a thick, full Garland. Sometimes I double it, sometimes I triple it, I add picks and sprays. I don't know what I'm gonna do this year. I'm gonna freeform it, but I wanna be able to show you guys the process. So let's take a look. Okay, so this is the Garland that I want to use this year. I think it has a realistic, very natural texture and tone to it. And I definitely think it goes with this year's theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link both of these together to create some length, but then I'm going to add another one in here to create some volume to it. So let's do that, then we'll get it hung, and then I'll begin to start filling it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to think like what I want to do first. Let's link them together. I'll link them together first, and then we'll create the volume. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So I got some wire. We'll link them together with the wire, and then we'll get it hung up. So let's do that. all the garland is up. This is about 3 of them. I actually cut up an old garland and added a few sprays to give it that fuller effect. Added some twinkle lights as well as some regular lights to it to kind of give it a nice little added touch. But I think it's time for some accessories now. Maybe some picks, maybe some ornaments. I don't know just yet, but let's see what we come up with in this next process. But I'm actually liking how it's coming out. Let's look at it from this angle here. I'm liking it. So guys, now that the space is all finished, I am so in love with it. I mean, when you look at just the level of detail, I mean, this is 3 garlands hooked together. I added, you know, some with just different textures and different varieties of greenery in it, just to kind of give it that nice plush full effect. I also took an extra garland and cut it up and just added just different little bits and pieces everywhere to, again, make it very full, very lush. I added so many different picks in. I added these gold leaves. I added just a lot of picks and sprays, the ones that I showed you from my Shop With Me video. I found these absolutely stunning and beautiful picks here with this beautiful jewel. I found those at Home Goods not too long ago. I added my beautiful little friend here as the very completed and finished touch. But you know what? This space took me a few days to complete. And listen, if you learn nothing else from me, it is not only to be creative, but to take your time. I mean, your Christmas decoration should not be a rush. If it takes you 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days to do your decorations, your Christmas tree, your garland, your entryway, whatever that looks like, take your time. I cannot stress that enough. This is something that I go back to day after day after day just to kind of look at it. I stand back, look at it from different angles. I just make sure that I am ultimately happy with it. And so it takes me time to be able to do so. Now, could I probably do it in one day? Yeah. But does waiting a few extra days and picking at it and adding to it and subtracting from it, getting other people's opinions, things like that, does that help to bring it all together? Absolutely. So again, if you learn nothing else from me, it is to be creative and take your time. All right, beautiful people, that is all the video that I have for you today. I do hope that this video has given you just a little bit of inspiration for you to start creating your very beautiful but stunning entryways. As I heard a designer recently say, your entryway is the appetizer to your main course. Well, bon appetit, honey. It's Christmas. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, stay beautiful.